on 12 News, local response to the attacks in Paris. Then, celebration as Osseo takes a state title. But first, a focus on housing, how the hard work and kindness of others leads to a new home.
This is our house. This is something that I would never, ever forget.
And why there's concern about homelessness for young people with children. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone. We begin with a serious fire this afternoon in Brookyln Park.
The fire broke out late this afternoon at the Huntington Place apartment building on 73rd Avenue. According to preliminary reports, people were trapped inside and there were injuries reported. It is not clear how the fire started or how serious those injuries are. Firefighting crews from several neighboring communities are joining in to help. Buses were brought in for those who had to be evacuated. We will have an updated more information coming up Tuesday on 12 News and also online. Local officials are getting praise for their work on homelessness, but today there was a strong reminder that there is more work to be done.
As Eric Nelson found out, it's a serious issue that's getting more attention in the northwest suburbs.
It is National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week.
No one should go hungry and everyone should have a home.
We know there are people who are going hungry today, right now.
But that's not reality.
Ignoring it doesn't fix it. It's still a problem.
Stamping out hunger and sheltering the homeless is a daunting task.
We opened the first teen homeless shelter in the suburb.
And suburbs such as Brookyln Park are not immune to this crisis.
People tend to think of homeless in a box underneath the overpass, and they don't realize that it happens everywhere. Kind of like the place you'll find homeless teens, you'll find them in school because it's a safe place.
Brookyln Park is actively trying to combat hunger and homelessness.
Most expensive solutions do nothing. It's inexpensive to provide some help.
Mayor Jeff Lundy received an award for his efforts at a special ceremony today.
The youth out here are really grateful. The families out here are really grateful.
The homeless problem is even more magnified for teenage moms.
There's definitely an unmet need in Hennepin County around parenting teens and their children.
Currently, there are no shelters in Hennepin County for teens with kids. This can have a negative snowball effect.
It's been well documented that the children of teen parents suffer adverse child experiences.
Finding housing for young moms is crucial.
Once housing is established, everything else then can begin to fall in line. So housing is a really, really critical issue for this population.
That's Eric Nelson reporting. Northwest Hennepin Family Services is looking for places to house young moms. They're appealing to churches or someone who can donate land that can be redeveloped or even a house to support the housing needs of teen parents.
Flags are being flown at half-staff in Minnesota and across the country this week in the wake of the terrorist attacks in Paris that killed 129 people on Friday night. Governor Dayton ordered all U.S. and Minnesota government flags lowered at state and federal buildings through Thursday, and both local congressmen are reacting. Keith Ellison says, quote, "The depraved reality these terrorists live by will never overshadow the values of freedom, justice, and equality that deeply connect the U.S. and France." Congressman Eric Paulson says it's a wake-up call. He says it's clear the United States can no longer stand on the sidelines in confronting a group that wishes to do harm to us and our allies.
In other news now, a Maple Grove College student is in critical condition after an accident on a bicycle in St. Paul. 21-year-old Evan Steeves was riding his bike on Cleveland Avenue on Saturday when a car hit him, causing a traumatic brain injury. Steeves is an engineering student at the University of St. Thomas. On his Caring Bridge website, his family says Evan is opening his eyes when spoken to and nods his head. Family members are asking for prayers and for Evan's recovery and for the driver who hit him. A prayer service was held at St. Thomas last night. In Golden Valley, the State Patrol says alcohol played a factor in a wrong-way crash on Highway 100. It happened just after 3 a.m. Saturday morning. The patrol says a driver was traveling southbound in the northbound lane of Highway 100 near Duluth Street. The driver, who is suspected of driving drunk, hit another vehicle and rolled. A Hennepin County Medical Center ambulance witnessed the crash, and both drivers were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Students and experts at the University of Minnesota will have a keen interest in Brookyln Park starting in the 2016-2017 school year.
Brookyln Park has been selected to partner with a University of Minnesota program that promotes sustainability.
We're super excited to be the next city to partner with the University of Minnesota. The faculty and students there will bring a lot of resources to our community and a lot of great thinking about the future.
Communities project will connect the city with programs at the U that range from architecture to business to humanities. Students and staff will work with the city on 15 to 20 projects.
We anticipate there'll be a number of projects that are requests from our community to understand things more and think more about the future and how we can achieve both the desires of the community and the needs of the city as an organization.
Currently, the university is partnering with Carver County. The program will kick off next fall.
Well, it's something one area city hasn't seen in 30 years, a redevelopment boom that could bring more than 200 new homes.
In Business Matters, it's new housing in New Hope and a Brookyln Park business that's benefiting. As the first of 60 new single-family homes comes up at the Parkview development along 55th Avenue in Winnetka, it's not the only new housing development New Hope has in the works. Less than a half-mile away, this city-owned site along Bass Lake Road and next door to the New Hope Golf Course is ready for redevelopment.
Lattice came to the city with the idea of luxury-style apartment buildings, so this is something that the city doesn't have yet. It's a product that the city doesn't have. And this would be about a 4-story building, about 180 units.
Real estate developer Lattice, known for Minneapolis projects such as the Carlisle and Grant Park condominiums, has a preliminary development agreement with New Hope to build luxury apartments on the 3.5-acre site.
We're just taking this time to see if this is going to be the best fit for the city. The biggest thing that we want to do is make sure that it's a good fit for the neighborhood.
Before any deal is approved, residents will have a chance to look at site plans for the proposed apartments. If the project goes forward, construction would likely begin next year. Construction growth is helping a Brookyln Park business expand.
This is something that's a pretty common anchor used in a lot of commercial applications.
In his hand, Eric Erlinson holds one of thousands of different fasteners sold at Action Fastenings, a small family-owned Brookyln Park business that just expanded to a new location along County Road 81. The new location offers retail space, a new addition for this business. Action Fastenings primarily delivers fasteners and specialty tools, along with expertise, to professional contractors on job sites, such as the Viking Stadium project.
A couple of our bigger customers are there, so that certainly increases the demand for why we need to be there. But there's a fair amount of work throughout the metropolitan area. So there's a lot of contractors, a lot of work right now, which is good.
Coming up, how a shoebox can jumpstart the holiday season of giving.
And later in sports, local swimmers race for spots in the state meet.
But first, a soggy AccuWeather forecast.
For many, the unofficial kickoff of the holiday season begins with giving back.
Operation Christmas Child Shoebox Collection Week is this week. Beautiful Savior Lutheran Church in Plymouth is one of the collection points for people, churches, and organizations to drop off shoe boxes full of gifts. Organizers expect to collect more than 4,000 shoe boxes at this location this year. They will then be organized and delivered to children in need.
It means a lot to those kids. Those kids maybe have never received a gift, and this might be touching their lives to say that somebody actually cares.
You can drop off shoe boxes here until next Monday. There is also a collection center at Praise Christian Center in Crystal. The shoe boxes collected in the upper Midwest this year will be delivered to children in Central America and Africa. Robbinsdale's population increased by 4 over the weekend.
A mother and her 3 daughters now call the suburb home thanks to Habitat for Humanity and a group of volunteers described as angels. Delane Cleveland explains.
We are so overjoyed at this incredible turnout. This is just magnificent.
Thanksgiving is celebrated in late November.
Thank you so much.
But this gathering over the weekend in Robbinsdale proves that you don't need a special holiday to give thanks.
I am overjoyed right now. Overjoyed right now. Blessed, grateful, thankful. Words can't really express how I feel right now.
We thank you.
Saturday, friends, family, volunteers, and complete strangers gathered to welcome DeShanley Nickerson to her new Habitat for Humanity home.
What a joyous morning for Joe Shanley, who is now going to be a homeowner. She's put in hundreds of hours of sweat equity, along with hundreds of volunteers at this beautiful home here in Robbinsdale.
We first met DeShanley back in August as she and other volunteers were still in the process of building her home from the ground up.
Hardest thing I ever did, to go home with your back hurting.
But even getting to that point was no easy task.
It is a blessing by itself.
Roughly 250 people apply, and they have to undergo a rigorous screening process.
The day that I got the phone call for this property, I was actually leaving from work, and I cried. I sat in my car, I was holding up traffic in the parking lot, and I sat there and I cried.
Bless our labor.
Now, months later, she and her 3 daughters have a place to call their own in a welcoming neighborhood. It's the result of hard work, tears, and the kindness of others.
This is our house. This is something that I would never, ever forget.
In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
And if you'd like to get involved, Habitat has active volunteer sites 5 days a week. Well, coming up, reminiscing about the heyday of professional wrestling with someone who was there.
And in sports, highlights from Osseo's thrilling state championship football game. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
The Osseo football team survived a mid-season 3-game losing streak and had to rally past Tutino Grace in the state Class 6A semifinals. So the Orioles didn't let a little adversity in the championship game faze them. Osseo taking on Eastridge in the title game in Minneapolis, and it's a great start for the Orioles. Malik Gaylord throws deep down the middle of the field. Demario Armstrong is there. It's a 51-yard touchdown, and Osseo leads 7-0 less than 2 minutes into the game. Second quarter, Osseo up 7-3. Adamus Paiameo hits Sam Schiller for a Raptors touchdown. Eastridge is up 10-7 at the half. Third quarter, Grant Ryersey drills the second field goal of the game to make it 13-7, but a later miss by Ryersey opens the door for the Orioles. Fourth quarter, and Osseo gets a crucial defensive stop. Omar Port and friends corral Paiameo and forcing a punt. Osseo delivers a clutch drive. Gaylord to Armstrong between 2 defenders for a first down inside the 10. And then Prince Crua comes through once more with great blocking, leading him in for the touchdown, his 43rd carry of the night. Dean Lawmat's the go-ahead extra point, and Osseo leads 14-13 with just 24 seconds remaining. For good measure, they recover the kickoff, and that seals the deal. Osseo wins the state Class 6A title, their first official football championship.
I feel like that situation versus Tutino really prepared us for this game, and we knew anything was possible. You know, that last drive, we knew we can come down and make some plays and win the game.
But if you want to talk about the key to the game, you got to talk about our defensive coordinator, Mike Johnson, and Jason Modine, our special teams coach. I mean, to hold these guys to 13 points, even though they missed a field goal, that was pretty special. And they did a nice job. And our defense obviously is undersized, but they played hard and came through in big clutch situations.
Well, Wayzata will hit the water for a state title later this week. The Trojans are the 2-time defending Class AA champions in girls swimming and diving. Saturday, they are after the Section 5 AA championship. In the 200-yard freestyle race, Wayzata's Carly Quat sets a new section record with a winning time of 1 minute 49.48 seconds. 50 freestyle, Wayzata's Colleen Donlin beats teammate Alexis Schaff. Armstrong Samantha Sherbet is third. Schaff takes first in her next race, winning the 100 butterfly with a time of 56.67 seconds. Emma Rule answers the bell for Armstrong in the 500 free, winning gold with a time of 5 minutes 2.42 seconds. In the 100 backstroke, Quast, a winner again, breaks her own section record. Her time there, 54.95 seconds. In the 100 breaststroke, Wayzata's Madison Price challenged to the very end by teammate Alyssa Marquette. Price gets the win in 1 minute 3.64 seconds. And the Trojans dominate the relays as well. Donlin brings it home in the 400 freestyle. and Wayzata is the Section 5AA champion once again. Here are the final team scores in 5AA. Wayzata placed 4 swimmers in the top 8 in every event as they cruised to another section championship. Armstrong finished second with Champlin Park third. Osseo placed 5th, 1 spot ahead of Park Center, and Cooper finished 8th. Spots in the state meet were on the line for local teams competing in other sections as well. In the Section 8AA meet in Elk River, Maple Grove was the runner-up behind champion St. Michael Albertville. Brainerd finished 3rd and Rogers 4th. Crimson Junior Rose Gallagher won both the 200 and 500 freestyle races, and Maple Grove also won the 400 free relay. Breck takes home the title at the Section 2A meet. The Mustangs beat out St. Louis Park for the top spot, with Blake 3rd and Benilde St. Margaret's finishing 4th. Bree Thorne of Breck won both the 100 freestyle and 100 backstroke, and the Mustangs also won 2 relays. The state meet is Wednesday through Friday at the University of Minnesota's Aquatic Center. The boys' hockey season gets underway this week for many teams, and a big tournament returns to Plymouth. The 14th annual Turkey Trot Boys Hockey Tournament starts Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock at the Plymouth Ice Center. Host Wayzata will be joined again this year by Maple Grove, Edina, and Holy Family. You can see all the games live on Channel 12 and 12.tv. Should be a great tournament again. Always a lot of people and very good hockey to start the season.
And here we are, almost Thanksgiving,
I know,
right? Thanks a lot, John. Up next, calling all pro wrestling fans.
A retired Minnesota wrestler recalls the old days. We'll be right back.
If you're a pro wrestling fan, you probably know the name Jim Brunzell, or maybe you remember him as Jumpin' Jim because of his amazing leaping ability.
Well, Brunzell is now retired, but he can still bring out the fans to reminisce about the old days of professional wrestling.
And they were like a band of gypsies. They would, you know, go as long as they were making money and drawing money, and then they go to a different territory.
Brunzell spoke to a group with the Minnesota Wrestling Hall of Fame in Robbinsdale Sunday. He told them he wanted to be a football player and had no idea he'd become a pro wrestler until he met Greg Gagne at the University of Minnesota. Gagne convinced him to become a professional wrestler. Brunzell later tag teamed with Gagne as the High Flyers, and Brunzell says the big difference now is how wrestlers prepare for matches.
They have writers that write out everything. And they actually have all the matches are choreographed, so they actually practice their match before they go out there. Yeah. People ask me, they said, Jim, when did you practice? I said, I never practiced a match.
Well, Brunzell now has a book out about his life on the road as a professional wrestler. It's called Matt Lands. The stories cover the characters who traveled from match to match in the 70s and 80s. Man, those guys were characters.
I was going to say characters, no, right?
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you again tomorrow on 12 News beginning at 4.